Blessed be Zion, the pure in heart. Welcome to the lovely Deseret. I wanted to jump on here real quick and do a quick video on my experience with a type of grain that I've been using, a really ancient grain, and kind of how I fell into it, where I'm getting it from, and what I'm making with it, and why I decided to start using it. So we can start with Doctrine and Covenants. It's the Word of Wisdom, chapter 89, and in verse 16 and then 17, it says, all grain is good for food of man. And then in 17, it says, nevertheless, wheat for man. So I have some friends that had done a YouTube video and talked about a really ancient grain called farrow wheat, or known as Einkorn, Einkorn. And I was super curious about this because I've always been into eating whole wheat, and I always thought it was just in whole grains and thinking that it was just healthier for us. But come to find out that a really good quality grain or wheat isn't your typical whole wheat that you find in the grocery store. I even thought about buying unbleached wheat flour that I thought was even healthier. Come to find out, it's so processed much more than you think, that it's actually, some people are saying that it's actually causing a gluten intolerance in people. And I'm not eating it because I'm gluten intolerant or anything like that, but I did notice that certain flours were causing me a lot of stomach issues, and I can swear by switching over to Einkorn that I've had zero stomach issues, which is amazing because I've suffered for many years. And I'm finding that this has been the biggest improvement to my health. So I kind of wanted to share that with you guys because I hope that you'll find a love for it too, and that you'll feel the difference in your body. So I don't make a video unless I've given this a true and tried experience. I really experienced it. I really experimented with it and made a whole bunch of different things. Really paid attention to how my body felt, and I've had a really good experience, so I thought I'd have to share. So Einkorn is an ancient grain. It's like the purest grain you can get. It dates back thousands of years. It's not processed, which is really awesome, so it's never been stripped. What happens to wheat grain as it gets processed, it gains more chromosomes. Like, I really don't know all this stuff. It's just kind of the stuff that I've been learning, which is super scientific, and I don't understand science that way, so I didn't dive in too much, but I do understand the more chromosomes you have, the more processed it is. And so even your really good, healthy whole wheat, you would think was healthy flour, has like 70 or something, maybe 80 chromosomes in it, which is quite a bit. So it's been through quite the process. Where Einkorn is down, I think it's like 14. And I might be wrong. Like, I know it's really low though. It's like 12 or 14 or even 16. And that's really, really, really good. So you can see the difference between a 16 and a 72. It's crazy. And so that's number one reason why you should switch over to this, is because it hasn't been chemically altered in any way, which is awesome. Now, when I heard about this, I was like definitely all on board, because I'm all about the less processed things I can put in my body, the better, for many, many reasons. I think we all know those reasons. Really great for your health. But so I was like, where do I find it? And I figured my health food store would have it. Turns out I had to do quite a bit of digging. It was expensive for me personally, where I live, on Amazon to buy it and have it shipped to me. It was like $3 to $5. I think it was $5 a pound. And it's free shipping if you have Prime. But I was like, I can certainly find it, because I knew I was going to be using it a lot. So I was like, I got to find it in the store. So my local Fred Meyer actually sold farrow wheat, which I believe is the exact same as Einkorn. It might have a little difference in it. I'm not quite sure what it is. Every time I've Googled them, they both come up with it's the same thing. But they sold it in bulk, and it was just under $5 a pound, which is quite expensive. And it wasn't ground yet. So you can buy it at Bob's Red Mill, and it's already ground for you. And I think it costs even more. It was like $6 or $7 a pound, already ground into wheat. It just so happened when I got into this, my mom had an old grinder that she picked up at a free yard sale. This thing is ancient, guys. It's from Okay, I shouldn't say ancient because I know some of you are born in the 70s, but for a machine it is. So it was, I think it was 1974 or something like that, 73, this old grain mill. And so I bought some of the $5 a pound, not ground yet, the berries, the wheat berries. So I bought that. So we brought it home and we ground it, and it was quite the experiment making my first bread with it, because that's what you do with wheat, right? You're like, I'm gonna make bread. So I found a couple recipes, kind of my first loaf was terrible. We ate it anyway, but it was super dense because I was trying to just use a recipe that my mom had used for whole wheat, and we just kind of substituted it over to putting in farro. And what happened is the dough wasn't pulling away from the sides of the bowl like it typically would. It was just really, really sticky. So we kept adding more wheat to it. And it just made it super, super dense. So I had this really heavy loaf when I was done, and it tasted great, but it was just really dense. So after that, I did more research on like altitude and how to cook it, and you don't need to add more flour to it because it will make it more dense. So it's going to be a really sticky dough. So once I learned that, I was like, okay, stickiness is a good thing. We'll go with that. So I found a couple recipes, tweaked them, was able to kind of create my own, and I've messed around with this so much. Like, I've made so many loaves of bread now that I have a recipe that I'm actually going to put in the description below so that you can use that too, because it's tried and true. It works every time. I've made at least 12 loaves with it, probably 15 by now. And what's really great is I'm finding out, like, you can use this for pizza dough. I Google this stuff. I say Einkorn pizza dough, and it comes up, and it works every time. It says it's going to be super, super sticky. So just know that. I find out that grilling it works a lot better than putting it in the oven, because it is very, very sticky, and there's no way you're not going to get it off the counter onto your pizza pan. So I used a giant spatula and threw it on the grill. We make waffles every Saturday, which is an amazing recipe. It's super easy. But really, when it comes down to using einkorn wheat, we do grind our own, and I don't pay $5 a pound anymore, because what's really, really great is, like, God really, really, if you want to make a change and you pray for it and you're seeking for truth, he'll show up and he'll put things in your way for a reason. So I happen to be at our farmer's market. We go every Saturday. Never met this lady ever, never even crossed her booth before, but it happened that Saturday that my mom was there, and she's like, she took a picture of this lady's wheat, and she's like, isn't this what you were trying to use? And I was like, yeah, you got the farmer's market. So of course I headed right down there, and I got to meet the lady that her son grows it, that's like 20 miles away from where I live. He has this huge open field. It's amazing, guys. So I'm getting this homegrown einkorn wheat berries that's being grown locally, and they come down to the farmer's market and sell it. So I bought just a 3-pound bag from her, came home. It was berries, so I had to grind it, which was cool. But then I was like, I know I'm going to need a lot more of this, because I'm baking 3 loaves of bread a week. So she was so kind and let me buy a 5-gallon bucket from her, and that cost me less than $100. And I'm about halfway through the bucket, and I bought it about a month and a half ago. So she says I can buy it from her throughout the winter, which is really, really cool that they have enough on hand that they can supply me through the winter. So if you guys come across something like that, it's an absolute deal. So there's ways to get around finding it in your local store. I would definitely check your farmer's market. Check in your local area, see if anybody grows it that you can buy it from. It's amazing. But what it's done for me personally, like I said, it's really helped with a lot of stomach issues I've had. One thing is satiation, or like I don't feel hungry anymore after I eat it. I really worried at the beginning that I'd gain weight on this because it's bread, and it was so good. I was eating a lot of it, but I actually haven't gained any weight, which is awesome. So, but it does keep me super full. I just need, like, when I have a waffle on Saturday morning, I don't need to eat for like 5 hours, and it's just one waffle, and it's so awesome. I eat 2 slices of it for breakfast every morning with a couple eggs, and I'm full until lunchtime, 4 hours. I can work really hard at work, take my break 4 hours later, and I'm just starting to get hungry. So it really does fill you up. What else was I going to talk about? I'm just so grateful that I came across. I know it sounds so dumb, but I'm so grateful for new way for learning something that's old, but to me it's new. If that makes sense. That if you're really searching to take care of your health or things in your life, I know Heavenly Father will show up for you in those things. If you really have a desire to do that, He'll always provide a way. And there's so many more experiences I've had like this, but I just had to share how much I love these wheat berries, and grinding it myself kind of makes me feel like I'm in charge of something finally in this crazy world where they're trying to push products on us and give us all the gross stuff that's cheap. I actually have some kind of control over what I choose to put in my body, and I know it's like almost the purest thing you can get, and I already feel a difference. I feel so much better. But I'm just going to go ahead and leave you with that, and I'll leave the recipe down below. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or just leave a comment on this video. And I'm just going to leave that with you in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. I hope you all get to bake bread, and good luck with that. Let me know how it turns out.